Joining us now, Democratic Congressman of Virginia, Subramanyam. Congressman, we'll just start where your colleague left off. Do you agree? Is it time for new leadership in the Senate?
Well, I'll start by saying it was a really bad bill. I mean, you're talking about
You voted against it, yeah.
I voted against it, so did many other Democrats. And the reason was simple. We're giving the president, unprecedented power over tariffs to move around spending, move around a lot of these programs, cut funding for veterans, cut funding for housing. So it was a bad bill. I think Senator Schumer probably agrees with that. So the question is the alternative worse, right? Is a shutdown worse? I represent a lot of federal workers. Yeah. They were telling me to vote against it and to shut down the government. I've never seen that before. We've had many shutdown scares. And I think the reason is pretty simple. I think the American people want us to fight right now. And they want us to understand that this is not business as usual. And so we can't act like it's business like usual. And so I understand the dilemma. I'll just say from my perspective, I voted against the bill simply because it was a bad bill. And because when we have fought against this administration, when we have shown that we will stand up to them, they have backed down.
But do you feel, and have you heard from voters of yours, constituents, federal workers that wanted you to vote against it, that Schumer sold them out?
I wouldn't say that. I haven't heard Chuck Schumer's name personally, but I'll say that, there is a sense that we're not fighting enough, but I'll say that there's a lot we're doing to fight. So like all these lawsuits have been very successful. We've blocked over 40 actions now. We've launched about over 100 investigations in the Oversight Committee. We're doing a lot to fight, and we're actually winning. And so we need to continue fighting. I think this was one of the few times where we had a lot of leverage, actually. Yeah. And so why not use that leverage? It's March Madness right now. It's sort of like, a basketball player who's missed 5 shots. You don't stop shooting if you're a good shooter, though, right? Like, keep shooting until you start making shots. Like, this is our shot right now to actually fight back and maybe have some leverage. I think they would have caved. That's my opinion. I think if we pushed hard, I do think they would have caved. And we had a 30-day CR as a alternative plan. We had a good alternative plan that I think would have led to a bipartisan bill. So I'm of the opinion that if we had fought again, they would have eventually backed down.
I guess the more constructive and forward-looking question then is, as a House Democrat who was united with the rest of his caucus behind Leader Jeffries, do you feel like you have a good faith partner in Senate Democrats still?
Yeah, I mean, both of my senators, Warner and Kane, voted against it as well. We have a great relationship with our Senate. I think moving forward, yes, we have to continue, working together. We have to continue fighting, and we should probably have a better plan, I think, moving forward. That's the one thing I will say. Like, if the plan was to hope Republicans screw up or fail, then that shouldn't be our plan moving forward.
And that clearly was the plan, right? And so as you go into reconciliation, and I say that clearly was the plan because Schumer said he didn't think that the Republican bill was going to pass the House. Now that we see that House Republicans are way more organized than I think anyone's ever given them credit for, and now we rightly have to do that, where does this go on something like reconciliation, which is actually the more long-standing implementation of a lot of the harmful policies that this administration and Congress are trying to enact?
Yeah, I'll say that our plan, again, was if the Republicans had the votes, then we're just going to keep fighting until we have the leverage we need to get what the American people need. So moving forward, we can't count on the Republicans screwing up. We have to have a plan B. And I think the plan B is to always fight and keep putting the pressure on this administration because they will back down. They've already shown that.
And I think the central piece of this, too, is the actions from DOJ. When you talk about federal workers, those are the people who are directly impacted by the Musk effort. You have a bill. I've seen a number of different pithy phrases. Yours is what? Unleash?
Leash DOJ.
Leash DOJ. Another one is bad DOJ. There's a whole number of them. But is this the most pushback that can be done?
No, I mean, again, we're winning a lot of these lawsuits. Even in the work that we do in Congress, like, we've made Republicans kind of second guess themselves on a lot of fronts. And so I think there's a lot we can do. I think the most effective thing, honestly, I've done is telling the stories of the American people. And so this is what I want to say to people back home is you need to speak up, too. We'll fight for you, certainly. But when you fight, when you speak up and we give you a voice, we start winning. They start backing down. I've seen federal federal workers get their jobs back because we brought to light some of the things that were happening at one of our town halls, right? And so if we have that much power collectively, let's use it. That's the way I've been approaching this.
Yeah, and I've been to some of the town halls in your district, and certainly there is a palpable sense of fear on the part of federal workers who are afraid of what might come next. And then I also felt, even before this government funding battle, there was a tension among Democratic voters who were just saying, we want you to do more, but no one can truly yet define what. Democratic Congressman Subramanyam of Virginia, thank you as always. Stay at the table with